Hello everyone, I hope you all are as excited about the session as I am. Emotions play a very significant role in the development of a child, especially in early childhood. And if you nurture them in the right way, it will help in raising a happy and successful adults. So let me begin the session with a quote. Children's emotions are as real as yours. Just because they get sad over a cup of color of a cup does not make their feelings any less real. So let's begin the session. I'm Dr. Kanika Sharma. I'm founder of Smart Thoughts. I'm an author, trainer, speaker, and mother of two adorable kids. I strongly believe that a child's mental well-being depends upon the emotional development of a child. So as parents, where we are very concerned about their nutrition, how much they're eating, what they're eating, and we're concerned about the immunization. We always go and check whether the immunization is being done on time, whether they're getting enough physical play time and not. But we often overlook the most important part of their development, that is called as emotional development. We often compare our kids to another kid. Okay, we'll say, oh, look at that kid, he's so well behaved, he's so well mannered, why can't you be like that, you should learn from that kid. The first thing we need to understand is that every kid is unique. Few of them are happy and they are quick to adapt, while others, they are shy, they are moody, and they find it a little hard to cope with the change. So never compare your kids with any other kid, because every kid is unique. That's what we need to do as parents, is we need to stop comparing our kids. We all love our kids as much as we do, but sometimes handling their emotions can be quite a task. Don't you agree with that? Especially for mothers. When you talk about emotional, or when you talk about the physical development of a child, we all know, there are milestones set. So they know when a child is supposed to talk, when this child is supposed to walk, when this child is supposed to run, when this child is supposed to start speaking. So there are milestones set when it comes on the physical development of a child. But when it comes on emotional development of a child, it is very hard to visualize and actually see or measure a child's emotional development. And in fact, emotional development of a child is the foundation for the social development of any other child. As parents, what we can do for our to make our child's emotional development much better is, there are three things that we can do. The first thing is, we need to show our unconditional love and affection to our children. We need to make them understand that no matter what, we love them and accept them the way they are. And third thing is, we need to start teaching them and make them understand about emotions and feelings. Let me start with an incident. What happens is, I've got two adorable kids. My elder one is 6.5 and my younger one is 3. When it comes on, they both are different and they both are unique, and I love them no matter what. My elder one is more of a shy kind, and he's a very expressive kid. But when it comes on my daughter, she's not as expressive. She's very naughty, and she likes troubling everyone, and whenever you go and ask her, she'll never answer the right thing. So one day they both were playing Lego, and what she was doing is, they both love playing Lego. So what she was doing is, she was trying to take the Lego pieces, or trying to hide something from my elder one. He was building something, she was trying to hide something, she was trying to take pieces from him which he was trying to build a whatever he was building, I think a helicopter or something, and she think it was a game. So she was playing with that, and my son was getting angry because he was not able to build his entire helicopter, and because she was running around and everything. And she asked, okay fine, what do you say? So she will sometimes come and just throw it off everything, and everything, you being Lego so small in size, it will just spread all over the floor. My son, he let go of that thing for certain times, but after certain amount of time, he got really angry and he pushed her. He pushed her, she got angry, he pushed him back, and that's how the fight started. So I went ahead, and obviously I know I have to jump in to stop them from real fight. So I went there and I asked my son, I asked him, oh, what happened? Why were you crying? Or, why you got angry? Why did you push your sister? So I found it that, he said, okay, mama, I was angry. So I said, okay, why was she angry? What do you think? Why you think that she was angry? So she said, no, I was angry. I asked, why were you angry? He said, because she was not letting me play. So I asked, my next question was, did you ask your sister not to do that? He said, yes, mama, I asked her to stop. I said, okay, fine. Did she stop? He said, no, she did not stop. She did not listen to me. I was telling her to go, let me build and everything. I said, okay, fine. What was the next step? I said, I was sitting right there. Did you take help from me? He said, no, mama. I said, then why did not you take help from me? Then he said, no, mama, I was very angry and I did not like this. So he pushed and everything. So I explained it to him. See, whenever you feel any such thing, if you're not able to tell it or to your sister, because she thinks it's sort of game. So you need to explain it to her in the right way that this is not a game. I am building something and I do not like to be disturbed. So because she's too young to understand, so this way is what happened, the child gets angry and you're not. But as parents, what we do is we jump into the conclusion and we say, in this situation, majority of the parents would come and say and start scolding the elder one. Why did you hit your younger one? Why did you do that? Don't you think she's too young? Why did you hit? See, she got hurt. And you will start scolding the elder one. On the contrary, what I did is I did not scold him. I went to him, I spoke to him and made him realize that pushing him was not the right way and what he did was wrong. So these are the ways you need to teach your child and they will learn eventually. So there are many healthy ways that you can help child to handle their emotions in the right way. The first thing which I tell you is you need to be empathetic towards your child. Whenever your child is crying or shouting or throwing any temper tantrum, you need to go to them and show them and make sure that you are understanding them, you're acknowledging them, you are understanding what they're going through. You need to be empathetic instead of jumping on them and scolding them and telling them you should not do. Why are you crying? Why are you getting angry? You should not cry. Most common things what parents use for boys is that boys don't cry. Boys, are you a girl that you're crying? Very common thing. So what makes them, when you say these things, they do not like it. They think that, they are not acceptable. Instead of that, you can use the words like, I see, I understand what you're going through. I see, I understand you're upset, you're crying. I know what happened, made you upset. So when you speak these words or when you use these words for the kids, they understand that their feelings are, you are there for them. You can understand what they're going through. So you need to be empathetic towards your child. That's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is you need to develop emotional vocabulary for your children. How do you do that? When your children are young, you start teaching them about basic feelings like happy, sad, angry, mad, and these are the very basic feelings that a younger one needs to know. And as they start understanding these feelings and as they're growing, they understand, okay, once you know that your child my child knows these basic feelings, you start introducing the complex feelings like nervous, frustrated, annoyed. So you need to start introducing these words to them so that they should be able to identify and label their feelings. That's another important thing which you need to do. After that, what you need to do is you need to let your child talk about the feelings. So see, whenever anything happens, if there is an incident or something, there is a temper tantrum or they're going through nervous meltdown, a child will never listen. So whenever his child is angry or, in their phase where they won't listen, so please do not even try and, shouting at them or try to make them understand, because they will take their time. They are in that phase where they won't listen. So you need to calm down. You need to wait till your child calms down. You need to calm down. And then once your child calms down, you speak to them. And then probably your child will be able to listen to you, to what you're saying. Otherwise, most common thing what parents do is, if a child is sad or angry, you will just go and blast at them, and you will start shouting, why did you do that, why are you crying, what happened to you, what happened to you, this is wrong, this, you should not do this, this is not well behaved, this is not a good behavior. So you keep saying, when you keep saying such things to your children, how do you expect your child to speak about what it is? Just put yourself in your children's shoes, and you see, whenever you feel any such feeling, whenever you're frustrated, whenever you're having a meltdown, or you're having a bad day, so how do you feel if somebody comes and shouts at you? You won't like it, right? Just because you think that nobody understands you. Being adult, you understand that. But what about the children who are just developing, or who are just stepping into the world of emotions and feelings, and who are learning how to develop? So that's what something. Once the phase is over, let your child speak. Let your child speak to you and tell them what happened. You can help them by asking the questions like, okay, what happened? I saw you got angry. I saw you got mad. What happened? What made you got angry? What was the situation? Was it the situation, or was it the person? Why you got angry? Would you please like to share your thoughts with me? And then once the child starts opening up, the next thing you need to do is start asking them, okay, fine. What was the reaction? So there was a reaction, maybe your child must have pushed, or maybe a child would have thrown something on the floor. So next thing is, do you think what you did was right? Okay, then your child will answer something. Then you say, okay, do you think that, is there a better way that you could have handled this emotion or this phase or anything? So there's always a chance that you need, so let your child speak, understand what they are feeling, understand why it happened, understand what made them do that. So when a child is heard from their perspective, and when a child is being heard from somebody else, instead of judging them, you are actually acknowledging them, you are understanding them. It makes a world of difference for your children. So start doing that. Okay, let your child speak about the entire stuff, so that you can see the incidents from your child's perspective. That's one thing what you need to do. After that, you need to do is, you need to tell them to start labeling their feelings. How you can do is, identify the feeling and label them. Okay, I am sad because of this. There's something happened. Okay, what makes me that? That is sad. What makes me angry? So whenever, instead of a child throwing a tantrum, the child will be able to speak. So what happened is, my child, my elder one, he used to cry for everything. So like every single thing he used to cry, no matter what. I could not understand why is he crying, because there are many different feelings. So how I started is, I used to go and first used to give him a tight hug, and I used to ask him, what happened, baby? Why are you crying? Then he would say, Mama, I'm crying because, so he sometimes, they won't be in the mood to answer, or they won't know. So how you do is, okay, did you get hurt? He'll say no. Did somebody hit you? He'll say no. Did you fall? No. Did somebody what do you say, what are the other things? Is it paining somewhere in your body, or that is giving you this thing? He'll say no. Then he'll say, no, I'm crying because my sister took my toy. So you need to help them understand. So you need to tell them, Mama, I am not liking it. Or maybe instead of crying, you could have said, Mama, I am sad because my sister took my toy. So can you please help me out? So this is the situation where you help your child to identify and label the feelings. So what started when I started this exercise with my kid? So next time what happened is, he did not cry for every single thing. He stopped crying, and I saw a lot of difference in him, and he started labeling his feelings. So instead of crying, he would say, Mama, I am sad. He will say, Mama, I am hurt. Mama, I am angry. So he started labeling the feelings. That's the exercise you need to do with your child, so that your child is able to understand and label the feelings. Okay, very good. Now, after that, what you need to do is, you need to develop emotional intimacy with your children. What is emotional intimacy? So, you express your love, you show your love, unconditional love to your children. You make them feel that they are being loved no matter what. You try to, show your love through hugs, kisses, cuddles, snuggles, whatever, maybe play some fun game in which you express yourself. So do that, probably because that's what every child needs. They want to be loved, they want to know that they are being accepted. So this is what something you need to do. And you can, if you want, you can keep like a special name for your children, like, which shows them that, that's the love, that's the name made out, given out of love. Like, I call my little one as a princess, my angel, and I call my elder one as a champ. So they know, okay, so like, who's my champ, who's mama's champ, who's papa's champ, who's mama's angel, who's brother's angel. So they know, okay, fine, I'm angel to everyone and I'm important. So they know that we mean a lot to all of them. After developing emotional intimacy, so what is that next topic that you need to do is, first we need to role model. We are the role models for our children, so we have to develop positive emotional behaviors. See, children learn from what they see. If a child, or I have seen, if a child is if the parents are very aggressive, the child end up becoming aggressive, because that's what the child has seen throughout their life. So you need to do. In fact, this happened with me after my pregnancy. I became very short tempered and I used to get angry very often, and I saw that my temper was affecting my child. And that was the point I realized that I need to change my temper, otherwise it will start affecting my child and my child will become the same way. So I started controlling my anger. I understand we all mothers have like too much to handle. There's so many things we go through. There's work stress, there's homework stress, and the situations are so worse that sometimes you just don't feel like taking it, and you can't take it. You just give it back. But when you bring a change in yourself, you will see a behavior change in your child also. So you need to manage your emotions in a healthy way. So sometimes it happens, we all are human beings, we tend to, if in case your child is not listening to you, or your child is too naughty, and they try to trouble you when you're in middle of some work and they don't listen to you, so you end up shouting back to them. And this is what, and maybe you won't like it, but we are human beings who can stop it. So we all understand that. So what you need to do in these cases is, suppose if in case you make any mistake or you shout at your child or something, go and apologize to them. That's what I do, at least. And then at the end of the day, or something where, so you will be surprised to see what your child answers. So one day it was happened, I was in the middle of a call and my son came non-stop. I'm telling him, baby, give me 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just let me finish the call. And he did not listen, and I got really angry. And what my son did, and then obviously, then he went after that, and then it got busy. But at the end of the day, by the night when I was putting them to bed, I apologized to my son and I said, I'm really sorry, baby, I shouted at you, I shouldn't have. And I'm sure that please understand, mama was really upset because she was in the middle of the work. I will not to do it again. I was surprised to hear my son's answer, and my son said, mama, it is okay, I understand you shouted because I did not listen to you. You tried telling me so many times, but I did not listen to you. I should have listened to you. I am sorry. Imagine, what else do you expect from a 6-year-old? He understood what you were going through. So in this way, what you are teaching to your child? You are teaching to your child that it is okay to make mistakes. Sometimes it happens, but there's always a way to make it right. So if in case you shout at your child or anything goes wrong, go and apologize to them. Apologizing to your child will not make you any smaller. So start doing that. Children need to know that they are being loved for what they are being accepted the way they are. And once they get to know that, you will get there. After that, coming to the next most important point is, you need to communicate with your child. So what is communication? We often think, oh, I'm communicating well with your child. But imagine, in this entire day, where everybody is struggling with their work, with their home, work at home, with no maids turning up, with this COVID situation going up, with their online schooling and everything, we often ignore the fact that we are not communicating with their children. I am working. We make sure that they study well. We make sure that they eat well. We make sure that they play well. But doing all these things does not mean that you're communicating with your child. You need to communicating is you need to have a one-on-one conversation. Okay, so that is what you need to do. You start affecting. See, another thing is what parents do is whenever a child cries or child throws a tantrum, most of the parents will punish their children. And when you punish your child, the child gets a feeling that emotions are bad and they are not acceptable. And what they do is, in to cope with them, they try to hide these feelings inside them. And once they start hiding and not expressing themselves as they grow, it starts affecting their behavior and they start becoming, they misbehave with them. And that's where the bond between you and your child goes off. So you need to communicate with your child. You need to listen to them, and there's this huge disconnect when you don't communicate to them. So if a child is, angry or upset or doing anything, what you need to do is you need to listen to them. First thing is you need to listen to them. Second thing is you need to be empathetic towards them. You need to empathize towards them. And the last thing is you need to offer your guidance. Imagine we adults take so much of counseling, we women, we go to counselors, we have our thing. Imagine as adults, as like 30-40 years old, we need guidance, we need help, we need support, because nobody taught us how to handle emotions, and we end up giving this to it. And second thing is, thanks to the women's hormone, it happens. So please understand that you need to offer them the guidance. You need to use a gentle approach. Punishing is not the way to teach your child the right way. And once you do all these things to them, once your child starts understanding, okay, I'm accepted the way I am, my parents will listen to me, my parents will understand me, that one factor will lay a very strong foundation between you and your child. So communication plays a major important role. So listen to them, empathize with them, and offer them guidance, and use a gentle approach. Punishment is not the way. And last and not the least is you need to teach them about emotions in a very playful way. Play a game, like make a silly face game. You make some silly face and tell them to identify the feeling. So this is what my children love. I make a very funny face and they need to identify those emotions. And the next question is, I ask them, okay, I feel silly when I do this. What makes you feel silly? When do you feel silly? So what happens is, when you play this game, the child gets to understand the feeling. They know how the other person is feeling. They empathize with other feelings, and you get to know your child, and the child get to know himself or herself in a much better way. So there are a lot of games, there are a lot of books that helps a child to know about emotions. One of the most common book that I've very written is, this is a book which is being written by me. It's a very cute book, where the children talk about emotions. It's all about a teddy. It's been dedicated to my kid. It's a very cute book where it's all about teddy and the various situations. So my daughter, it's dedicated to my daughter. My daughter's favorite thing is teddy. So yeah. So that's very way. You will find a lot of books available on the internet, and the games and the activity sheets. So you need to start doing them. So many parents feel, okay, why do I need to bother or care about my emotional development of my child? Once they grow, they learn. It doesn't happen that way. If you are able to teach your child and guide your child and let them know that emotional, help them grow emotionally, then they will turn out to be very strong individuals in their adulthood. So few of the long term benefits of strong or having a high emotional quotient is, the mental well-being of the child is very strong. As they grow into adults, they can be able to handle their stress in a much better way compared to a child who has not been taught to about emotions. Then the second thing is they are more self-aware of the situations and about themselves. They know what is going to make them upset and they will try to avoid such kind of things. So, self-awareness is in them. They have a strong empathy in them. They will know what it is to be like that, and they'll be more empathetic towards others because they know how it feels. They will make really good choices in their life, and they will have a very effective communication with others. And most important thing, they'll have a very healthy and strong relationships in their life. That's the most important thing, and I think that's what everybody wants. Do you know even that 90% of the emotion, the people who are good think they have their emotional quotient very strong. So high performers have their emotional quotient very high. So that's what you need to do. If you do not focus only on the academics, please focus on their emotional development too, because a child needs, with all this after SSR case, this mental well-being coming up so lies, because he was going through this about whatever is going on the news. I think you as a mother of toddlers, or we as a parents of toddlers, we can bring, we can lay that foundational stone for our children, so that once they grow, they will be able to handle their emotions in a much, much better way than what we did when we were children. We need to understand a child needs to be loved and accepted, heard. You need to listen to them, and you need to just love them unconditionally. So ending the session with a very nice note, with a very nice quote, which is called as okay, so when little ones are overwhelmed by big emotions, it is our job to share our calm, not join their chaos. So next time, whenever your kid is crying or shouting or showing temper tantrums, make sure that you do not shout at them. Listen to them, empathize to them, and understand them, and you will see a lot of difference in your children. I have done that personally on my level, and I have seen a lot of change in my children. Try doing that. It might take time because children are different. Few might do it early, few might do it late, but do not give up, because you are the only hope and you're the only person who can help them develop those emotions. So let's begin to questions section. Okay. Yes. Okay. My child has a habit of hitting me. Despite I try to distract him, he does that every time. Is this just a phase, or how can I stop him to do? He's at 18 months old. Okay. So this question is, my child has a habit of hitting me. Okay. So first thing, what you need to do is, distraction is the key. But sometimes, it happens that, child do not listen to you, and, sometimes it happens that it's just a phase which goes over. But if the habit tries to continue, you need to understand what is the reason for it. So you need to teach your child. See, your child is too young, so you need to understand that, your child will take time. So what you need to do is start making him realize, talk whenever he's in a calm down phase, and whenever he's not angry, or whenever he's not this thing. So you speak to him and talk to him, as I told you, why were you hitting, baby? What makes you hit? Is there anything specific that, I know it's just an 18 months old baby, but you have to give it your best. You have to start practicing, because 18 months is quite a young kid. But I think if you speak to him and say, baby, you need to speak to him that, would you like it if I hit you? Obviously the child will say no. So hitting hurts others. You need to understand that. So you need to show these concerns to your child, and maybe your child will slowly start accepting this thing, and they will realize that hitting is a bad habit. Another point which I want to say is, never call your kid as good kid or bad kid. All the kids are good. It's the habits that are bad. So whenever you speak to your child, you speak to them, hitting is a bad habit, not you are a bad kid. Hitting is a bad habit. Crying or pushing is a bad habit. Punching is a bad habit. You need to use the words bad and good for habits, not for a kid. All the kids are good. So make sure, because they will start realizing that, okay, I'm a bad, and once you start telling them bad, it goes and sits in their head, in their subconscious mind, and they feel that, they are bad. And once they grow, this feeling becomes strong because you've been telling them over the period of time that you're a bad kid, bad kid, bad kid. So please do not use bad kid for that. Okay, so I hope you need to speak to your child, you need to practice with them, you need to play with them, you need to talk to your child, an 18-month-old kid, I don't know the name, but please talk to your child whenever the child is in a calm phase and tell them, because that's what happened with my younger one. My daughter is 3, and whenever my daughter would hit my elder one, she has a habit of hit my elder one, and she still does. She hasn't stopped, but yeah, it has gone down gradually. So I tell her that, would you like if bhaiya push hits you back, or if your brother does the same thing, hits you with a stick or a bat, whatever she's playing with? And her answer would come as no. So then why do you do that? So obviously it has gone down gradually, but it did not go completely. So yes, you need to teach them the right way, and you need to keep reinforcing these things and keep explaining to until the time your child is at that level where they understand that yes, it's a bad habit. So that's another thing that you need to do. Now the thing is, we live in a world of every depression has become a trendy word. How to explain this rightly to a child, and how to create an emotional IQ base for them? Okay, yes, depression is a very strong word. So what you need to do is, if your kid is young, please keep these kind of words away from a child, because these are very strong negative words which a child or toddlers, or in their early childhood, they won't understand. Yeah, but you need to build a strong emotional quotient for them, which can be done by the various ways that I have taught you. And you need to talk to them, listen to them, empathize with them, understand them. And see, when you it's a cycle. Once you start doing this on a regular basis with your kid, and so your kid won't come and barge into you with everything. I'm not saying that it will just go in a fraction of seconds. It will take time, but that's a habit that you need to push. You need to build this emotional quotient in your child by practicing all the ways that I have told you. So, show your unconditional love to them, help them understand, teach them, guide them, tell you what is right, what is wrong, what are these emotions, how does it make you feel. You give your example. When mama gets sad, mama does this. When I get angry, I do this. And another great way of telling them is, you need to create a calm down kit for them. So maybe whatever your kid knows, if your kid is not in a phase, so now you need to tell them the strategies how to calm down. You need to tell them okay, so if in case, another thing is, if your kid is really angry, and they don't know how to do, so you need to practice this when your kid is calm. Okay, so you teach your kid that whenever you are angry or upset, or any other negative feeling that they go through, you need to do these things. You can tell them to breathe on a count of 1 2 3. You need to teach them slow breathing. You need to give them a timeout. You give them, make a space in the house, where you put all those, make a kit for them in which you put their crayons, coloring, or whatever it is, there are different things that you can make out whatever kid loves to do. So what is ideally, for the time being, they will be off the thing what is there in their head. They will get distracted, and since they will be doing something what they love, they will calm down. So it is called as calm down kit. Create a calm down for your kit for your kid, what they love, and you start telling them, start making them practice. Okay, so next time whenever your kid is in that phase, you can give them that, would you like to go and try out that your calm down kit that we created for you? Maybe the child might be time, but obviously it depends upon kid to kid, upon the developmental stage. You can't expect an 18-month-old and a 5-year-old to do the same thing. So yeah, you need to work on it. These are the strategies that you need to start building. Earlier the better. Start talking to your child and start doing this thing. So that's the best way to do that. Going to the next question. Okay, how to cope with jealous or negative emotions in a child? Okay, so negative emotions, I have said that, see, jealousy comes in a kid whenever the child feels that they are not being loved. Especially when it comes when a younger one comes into your family, and obviously being the younger one, your entire focus is on the younger one. And imagine that where the entire family world was around one kid, and all of a sudden some younger kid comes and the entire attention goes to from that elder one to the younger one. So obviously the child will feel neglected, left out. It is not because you're doing it purposely, but yeah, it happens because we are doing it unintentionally, but it is happening, where the child was getting so much of love, all of a sudden the child is not being, not getting that much love what the child was getting before. So what you need to do is, you need as a mother, especially it happens to a mother, so or whoever that person is most attached to, the kid is most attached to, you need to push in more efforts to make sure that your child is not neglected. It happened with my elder one. When my daughter was born, they have a difference of almost quarter to 4 years. For before that, before my daughter, my son was my world. And now all of a sudden, obviously I was giving more time to her because she was young, she needs more time. But you understand that the kid is just 2 months old, they won't understand compared to a 4 month old kid. So whenever you're cuddling, or I made that habit since that day. So whenever I would cuddle or kiss my younger one, I make sure that I do it for the elder one too. So in this way, what they feel is they are still loved. It is that other kid or the younger kid is just another member addition to the family, and nobody loves the elder kid or the kid less. They love both equally. But and what you do is, you tell them that this kid is your baby too, like I have brought this kid for you, so I want you to love and I will love you. So all together we are a family. You need to introduce these things in a kid, and slowly and eventually when the child sees that I am being loved, nothing is changed for me, the jealousy factors would just go off. It will never stay there. I hope I have answered your questions. Okay, the next question is to Nishtha. How to make sure that children are mentally strong? Okay. How do you make that your child is mentally strong? Is if your child is emotionally developed really nicely, and in the emotional development of a child is really strong, they will turn out to be a really strong kids, because first they will be able to handle their emotions, they will be able to cope up with the emotions in a better way. So as soon as possible, as your child starts understanding the emotions, you practice these things in your way. You tell them that it is okay to have emotions. Please do not tell your children that boys do not cry, you should not crying. Whenever any negative emotions or any negative feelings comes into a child, and we punish them, or we shout at them, or we say bad things to them, that this is not wrong, this is right, this is, we keep telling them that crying is not the right thing, crying is something you should not do, or shouting is something you should not do. So we keep putting these things into a child's head that it is not wrong, it is wrong, 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 and ultimately the child will not do. So if your child is able to express even their negative emotions very well, just like any other emotions, I'm sure they will turn out to be really mentally strong, because they can identify, they can handle their emotions in a much positive way than any other person. So that was, I hope I have answered that question. Now, how to, okay, Nishtha, okay, yeah, okay. Anything else? Commented on my first cry. Yes, I guess that's it. There is no other questions for me. Wow. Okay. Right. Okay. Um, any other viewers who are there and who are watching me, and they are saying that they want to see, then please feel free to ask the questions, any doubts you have, any practices that you're doing right now, and their uh, parents tend to overlook their emotional development of your children. So please do not do that, because I think if you in a age we are living in an age where digital era is taking over the life of every person. You see a family of four. Imagine when you were being brought up. So there was no one going to do that, or what do you say? Okay. Yeah, just a second. Yes. Okay. So we are living in a world. Imagine yourself how you were raised. There was a room in which we would talk to each other. We would play games around. There were joint families. But now mothers were mostly housewives. So we had a lot of good family time with our parents. But now we are living in a world where there's less family time. Everybody is busy in their own world. There are if the people are also sitting, they're all on their devices. So please, just this is a world where they're getting so much. The children are getting influenced by the outer world. They don't even know what real world is. The teenagers life depends upon likes, and the number of followers they have on Instagram and Facebook, the number of friends they have on Instagram and Facebook. So there's so many things. They get into crushes, they have their infatuations. But as parents, we fail to teach them the right thing because we all are busy. But it's our responsibility to make sure that we teach the right thing to our children. We need to make them aware of what is going on in the real world. We need to speak to them, we need to talk to them, we need to educate them, and you need to tell them what is right, what is wrong. And if you don't do that, somebody else will. So why don't and as the kids grow, if you teach them in the early childhood the right way, as your child turns into a teenager, the child will be able to understand. They will be able to open up to you, and they will be able to see, you will be able to see the things right through your child, because you know your child's behavior, your child's pattern so well, that you will understand. Another thing that happens during puberty is, like most of the parents who are teenagers parents, they feel that the child is misbehaving, but unfortunately it's the hormones in their body that is making them do so. So there's so much of barrier, or between the actual thing that is happening, and between the parents who are completely unaware about what is the real thing. So as parents, we need to educate ourselves. You need to be aware of what is going on in the child's world. You need to empower your child through various stuff. And emotional and mental well-being is a very important aspect of a child's upbringing. If you give them the right thing to do at the right age, once they grow, they'll be really successful, they'll be really happy. And I think the words like anxiety, depression won't exist in their dictionary or in their life, because they'll be so well balanced. They'll be able to manage, use their own emotions to to communicate effectively, to resolve the conflicts, what is going on, to handle the stress, because they know how to manage them, how to keep themselves out of that negative emotions. So please, it's a request to all the parents, please do not ignore the negative emotions of your children. Educate them, talk to them, be empathetic towards them, and most importantly, understand them and love them affectionately, unconditionally, and be there for them. If the child knows, if you are there for them no matter what, it's like a safe corner for your there's a safe space in this entire world for your kid, where the kid can always go back to and tell that, okay, fine, I am right, I'm right here. And if something happens to me, or if something goes wrong with me, I know where to go, I know whom to look back to you. So it's a theory that if the child has a safer place to go back to or look back to in their world, so they will never make wrong choices in their life, because they know they will always have something to bounce back on. So please be there for your kids. It's a really important thing which is required. um, any other questions? I guess that's what the problem is. We live in an ignorance where parents think that emotional thing is not really important. The emotional mental well-being is not really important for a children. So please, you know. So ending the session, I hope you all like, and if there is any other queries or questions, you can leave on the comments. I'll try to get back to you. Thank you so much, and nurture healthy emotions in your children. Thank you.